welcome back, everybody. It's another episode of the podcast. Before we actually get started, please make sure to like, subscribe, check out our Instagram if you haven't already. So today is actually a really special episode. It's our first official collab episode. We have another podcast, some podcast guys with us from our hometown Lafayette. We have the InspoCast here with us.
What's up, guys?
Yes,
How you doing?
What's up?
Yes, sir.
Oh, wait, actually, are we allowed to say cuss words or no?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, cuss as much as you want.
Whatever you want, bro.
Subscribe to the motherfucking podcast. Here we go.
Yeah. So if you guys want to shout yourselves out, whatever you guys got going on socials, your podcast, and give us a little brief introduction about yourselves.
All right. Eliaz Marquez here. Make sure you guys go follow my Instagram pages. Well, yeah. Eliaz._.Marquez and inspo._.cast, and follow my YouTube, just my first and last name. That's pretty much it. Make sure you guys tune in.
Also, he's a future IFBB pro in the making.
Exactly.
So.
Future pro bodybuilder right here.
Yeah.
Legend in the making.
Man was literally eating his meals in the car while we were going here, bro.
serious?
Yes, dude.
Yeah,
he's going
yeah.
so hard. What's up, guys? My name is Cole Bushy. I'm a local photographer and filmmaker in the area, specifically focusing in on fitness content. I have my own production page called King Culture Production, so make sure to go check that out on Instagram. Also, like we said, InspoCast, make sure to go check that out, inspo._.cast. We just aired episode 23. Well, I guess I know it's going to come out later, but we just aired that today. Episode 24 with Vic Visual is coming out Monday. I don't even know what day that is, but that one's going to be an absolute banger, so make sure to stay tuned for that. And, hey, make sure to go subscribe to these boys. Come on. They already said it in the beginning.
Come on,
Come
we're here.
Come on.
We're already here. Come on. You're already watching the video.
Exactly.
Just hit that subscribe button.
Literally just press like they said in the last one, press that red button, turn it white. It'll take you 2 seconds. That's all you have to do. Press the like, too. What are you doing?
Yeah.
And what should they comment in the comment section down below, too?
Comment
I don't know, bro.
#collab.
Hashtag
Hashtag
collab in the comment section down below.
Yeah.
Get the
So,
engagement up.
how did you guys meet? Because I know I actually know your brother, Saul.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to.
So who's your brother?
Marcus? Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to. I had
school?
high school.
Yeah.
What? He's a year younger than me.
Okay.
But we played on the same team in junior high. But how did you guys meet?
Lead
Maybe
it off.
I know I saw him in 5-star, because that's where I kind of started going when I first started my fitness journey. So I kind of knew him from there. Didn't really know him personally though until probably maybe 5-6 months ago.
Oh wow.
And then we met. I guess we already kind of knew each other in a way from 5-star, and then when I started going on social media and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we just kind of started talking. Yeah, December, and then started talking about. I was let's do a podcast, and then I went back in March to Lafayette, and I said it again, and then we just started it the next day after that.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know, 5-Star Nutrition, it's a local supplement shop in Lafayette. They focus on health and wellness guidance, so it's it's not just you go in there, you're you're sup, bro. These people are actually here to help you. I worked there for 14 months. I was in management. I got offered 2 general manager positions in the time I was there.
Nice.
Really took pride in my job, and it was super cool to be able to it gave me a pulse on all of the fitness community. And one of those cool people was him. Social media has brought all of us together, right?
Yeah,
I said that in
yeah.
a lot of episodes
Yeah,
on
dude.
the InspoCast, but I just saw what he was doing, and I was just this man's insane right now. He's going to a place that I want to be, and I want to be on that path with him,
Right.
And it was so December, we kind of it was Christmas break, and then he linked up with me. I think we saw each other in the gym. We just dapped each other up, and then he was yo, we need to do a podcast.
Yeah.
And I was yeah, cool, bro. Whatever.
Sure, why not?
And then it was weird though. It was kind of unspoken. It was just we were really gonna do it though, because he was I'm coming back for spring break in March or something like that, right? And he's we're gonna do it then. We're gonna do it, and I'm okay, whatever.
Yeah.
January came around. I think he stopped by one more time. We saw each other in the gym, and he mentioned it again, and it was always kind of in our heads too.
Yeah.
And I remember when spring break finally hit, it was a Sunday. I was going to the gym, I hit him up and I was hey, yo, will you film for me at the gym today?
Yeah.
And he was yeah, but I'm at the gym right now. because I was gonna go later, and I was actually supposed to go to dinner with my dad. All right, sorry, Dad. I know you know the story, but I just did stuff. I just went down. I was like, "Yo, sorry, I gotta go to the gym, bro." And I'm like forever grateful for that moment because that's basically like what started our whole podcast. No joke. It was like he filmed for me, and it was just like this weird. I don't know, when like you have a good experience with somebody, it's like hard to explain, but it was just like so pure. And I was like, I fuck with this dude hard. Like I really like this dude. And then it was like the next day we talked a bunch, and then the day after that we were just like blowing up each other's phones, and I just called him and I was like, bro, what are you doing right now? And he's like, nothing. I'm like, you want to do a photo shoot? He's like, yeah. So we went to downtown Lafayette. I shot like 300 photos of this dude. Sexy, man. Damn. And it was just like the rest was history from there. We did 4 InspoCast episodes that week. In like 5 days, we did 4 episodes. Nice. We did 2 YouTube videos. Between the both of us, we probably had like 4 or 5 Instagram posts. And I mean, it was just like content spree.
Yeah, for a whole week.
Yeah, just the whole week.
That's props to you, because I know you were like coming down from school and recording, right?
Yeah.
So like, you guys had only like a 2-day span to record everything, right?
For what? 2 or 3 months?
2 months, yeah.
Dang.
Literally, and we mentioned it in one of the podcasts, but this man would literally drive like every single weekend, to go do these episodes. So like during the week, it was like we had to make sure we had everything done at least by Sunday, because if not, like I had to get these clips over to him so we could do the reels. Right. You know, we had to figure out Monday through Wednesday who was going to be on the guest list, like all that stuff, and we had to be ready to go for the weekend. Now it's a lot better because it's summer. Yeah, but it was a grind. It definitely tested us for sure.
Yeah, man. Well, yeah, everyone kind of goes through it, because at first when you start, it's just a grind on figuring out a schedule. Once you got it, it's fine, but then it's like you keep on going, and one thing happens, another thing happens, and you just adjust as you go, you know?
Agreed.
Yeah.
I would say, one thing is the schedule. 2 is just like when you start anything for the first time, right? There's a learning curve. Like,
huge, man. Huge.
And I know you guys talked about it before we were even on here, but you're like, bro, the setup now compared to then.
Yeah. Like, well, just like you guys, you know, like, like when you first start, you're like, yo, how do I do this? You set up a camera, you get some mics, and then you go and you kind of hope for the best, you know? And then as you do more episodes, you're like, you know what, let's change this, let's change that. And it gets a little better. Like
your guys' setup is like where we're trying to get, like with the mics having all in like one spot, so where it's not like we're recording 4 different things right now, and like with your actual camera, like that's literally where we're trying to get.
And it's funny, it's like, and we want to be where all these other people are at.
Yeah,
and we have like the 4K, so it's a
man.
never-ending grind. It's all just about like putting out the good conversation, you know.
But as long as you're having fun, like that's that's what it's about. Having fun, bringing everybody else up. Yeah.
Do you remember when we started like how the first episode, how we recorded? Do you remember? Off of your laptop, remember?
I don't remember.
So we would like so we'd have like a camera, and then we would plug it into like a computer, and basically like it would be like, or a webcam almost is what we were using. It was it was terrible. Yeah. Like it was like, what are we doing? And then we finally got smart, and then I think the worst experience we ever had.
Episode 6.
What happened? Episode 6.
So episode 6, and shout out Brendan Hillary, by the way. Yeah. Hey, I hope you have safe travels as well. I'm gonna refer him to this podcast. He's a hot shot for 5-Star Nutrition, and we had him on. He was traveling around the country at that time, so we did our first virtual podcast, and that was where I think it broke us for a little bit, but that also kind of showed us like, yo, this is an avenue though, and this is how we can expand. But did our first ever virtual podcast, had basically everything the wrong way, and I spent 8 hours editing that one podcast just for my storage to fail, and for us to have to redo the whole entire podcast. It was like the most miserable experience, but we learned like infinite amounts from that. I remember like it was like 1 a.m, and I'm just like sitting on the ground, just like defeated, and he looks at me, he's like, bro, we should just go to bed.
We'll just do this tomorrow. It's like, yo, let's just like recuperate and start over tomorrow.
We're done. Yeah, we're done, bro.
Yeah, it's so cool hearing like other podcasts, how they started, because like our struggles when we first started, it was like kind of this setup, but we had 2 mics plugged into one laptop, not knowing that it was only recording one mic.
Yeah.
And then our camera died, so we just use audio, and like it's just a black screen on
Yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah.
So-
Like if you go back to the first one, I think like 40 minutes in, it just cuts to black. That or like whatever logo we had at the time, we just plopped that up because my camera just shut off because it was too hot.
And like we didn't know how to
Yeah.
use our mics. We were talking into them like this instead of like this. And
Yeah.
it was just
yeah.
we're like, why does
Oh,
why does Pablo's mic or like why can I hear Pablo a lot clearer than like me? Like I sounded in the like I was in the background because
distance.
only one mic was working.
Yeah.
Yeah, I commend you guys because like we don't even have 4 laptops, so like we couldn't even pull the setup off if we wanted to.
Oh well, thanks to my wife, dude. One of these is my wife's. I use
Okay,
hers.
shout
Yeah,
out.
and then
Yeah.
Pablo has 2 of them.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to get rid of that one because I invested in this one.
Yeah, that thing
So,
actually looks like a beast. Is that
yeah.
the Pro?
Yeah,
That's
it's
a
a
newer
newer
one.
16
one.
inch,
Yeah.
dude. That
Sir.
thing's. That
Yeah.
thing's
So
insane.
how'd you guys get started in? So you want to go more into the photography and you just like fitness and working out as a hobby?
I would say more specifically filmmaking.
Filmmaking. Okay.
Like long story short, before I had the A7 II I have now, I had a Nikon D60, and I shot in 18 months. I shot about 10,000 photos in the fitness community. So I shot for a lot of different people. I shot for this dude. I shot for shout out Jake Butcher. Shot for. I mean, literally, if you can think of them, I probably shot for them.
Yeah.
Just because it was something I was always passionate about. Like I've always been moved by like the fitness community down in Houston and what they've done there. And I was like, I want to bring that here, you know?
Got it.
And so I was just like, my mom gifted me that camera because she used to be a photographer. And I just picked it up and I was like, this is my chance to like learn.
Yeah.
And then recently I'd always had dreams of like getting a new camera because that camera I couldn't shoot video with, unfortunately.
Oh,
It was
only
just all
pictures?
photos.
It was all photos. It's an old ass DSLR. And I was like, I want to go mirrorless. I want the Sony. And just got a new job recently. Shout out. And I mean, it's financially allowed me to be able to go out there and make those kind of investments.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
to anybody out there actually trying to like do whatever you're trying to do, try to start like a YouTube channel, whatever, invest in yourself. I would definitely recommend investing in a camera because it never hurts to have good pictures of yourself, 1. And 2, it's a really cool experience and another way to an opportunity to grow and learn. But yeah, no, that's the biggest part I'm passionate about. And it's just because like, yeah, I don't know. I just like that a lot more. And I think this man has the dream of being the IFBB Pro. I want to be the dude that documents it, you know?
Yeah. Bro, see, that's cool. That's why I feel you guys are going to make a great team. You know? Like you
That's
do
why
all
we
like
do
the,
make a great team.
Yeah. Dude. Well, yeah, okay, yeah, you do, but like once you guys do get big and like all like you see the background behind it, you know? You get to film everything, take photos, and he's just doing his work, you know? He's out there chasing that IFBB Pro card, you know? So how'd you get started into like bodybuilding or like when did you first be like, you know what, I want my pro card?
Damn, that's a good question. I guess I was always like kind of powerlifting in high school for football, so like I guess I always had like that hard work mentality from football, and then like I always loved lifting, and so like basically before my senior years, like when I started the whole fitness journey thing, and because that was for my senior season, I just had knee surgery. And I was like, I want to have my best senior season possible. Because at that point, I was like thinking I was going to go to the NFL and shit, you know?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, man, you
gotta shoot high.
I would have if I didn't switch to pro bodybuilding, just saying. But, so yeah, I fell in love with lifting and just like, I would see people on TikTok making transformations. And so I was like, I want to make one too. And I saw people making a living off social media. So I was like, I can do that too. And then I just really got into it. And then like, I would post like 2-3 months transformations. I'd probably get made fun of if I did like for a little bit, just because like I still look like
that's a part of the process.
Yeah, it's
bro.
part of the
Like,
process.
Honestly though, fuck them, because later
Yeah.
once you are a pro, they're gonna be like, hey man, I believed in you.
Yeah, plus it helped
You
me.
know?
You know?
Yeah,
like
dude,
giving
hell yeah,
motivation
right
and
on.
stuff.
I mean, I even know right now, like how you're feeling, you know, like you're kind of like in the middle of this prep and you're just like, man, I just want to be shredded. And it's just like, it's just a part of the process.
So
man.
you're competing soon then?
Like 14 weeks from this Saturday.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm feeling like Dookie right now.
Where at? Where are you performing?
It's only like from here. Well, from Lafayette, it's like 90 minutes away. It's like
north?
yeah, Illinois.
Oh, okay.
I forget what city, but where I got the dream of being a pro bodybuilder, I just see people like Anthony Manatello and stuff like that, him chasing his pro card, James English, and I'm like, I want to have a physique like that. and be able to say I got a pro card. That's like my life goal, get my
Yeah,
pro
yeah,
card.
yeah.
And I already have like the kind of like the roadmap in my head of how it's gonna go. I'll have it by 25.
By 25,
Yeah.
and you're 20, 21?
18.
18. You're 18?
Yeah.
No
So we had
shit.
the same
Well, I turned
reaction.
19.
Yo, you low-key blew my mind just now.
Yeah, I turned 19 next Friday.
Dang, dude.
Oh, happy early birthday.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah,
Bro, the
right
other thing I
on.
want to commend this dude for is like in the process of all of this, you know, utilizing like social media, more specifically TikTok. Cause like, okay, so I'm 23. I don't know how old you guys are.
23.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll be 26, but I'm 25 right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like we didn't really grow up in an era where like TikTok was like a big thing, you know? Like
nah.
Instagram was probably pretty big. I mean like YouTube, I think.
Bro, Facebook.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
Facebook, you know?
the most recent one I can, or like the first one I remember in that kind of realm was Vine.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
But like what this man's done in the TikTok community too, that was the one thing like when I first saw him that I was like, holy shit, dude. I was like, I mean, I'm not here to be like, damn, followers or everything. But this dude had fucking 50,000 people watching him, you know? And
That's
I was just
awesome.
like, that's crazy.
Yeah, dude.
And documenting this journey of just like from fat to fit, you know, having that accountability and like literally changing lives. Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, the messages that this dude gets on a daily basis of like, bro, you literally like got my ass in the gym. Like, I've lost like 30 pounds because of you type of stuff.
Dude,
like, it's
one of
crazy.
those messages trumps every other like negative message that's
It
sent to
does.
you.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
literally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking nice, dude. So how long you been in the gym? Well, you said you worked or you did football in high school.
Yeah.
So obviously you do like your training and your stuff. So was it really after the knee surgery?
Yeah. So like, I'd say approaching 2 years in August.
That you started like seriously
Yeah,
lifting in the
yeah.
gym? And you don't get any kind of pain from like squatting or anything like that?
Yeah. It's, I mean,
Yeah.
it's just there, you know, you just gotta push through it. But I mean,
you
I
know
do.
who I'm sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to
I
interrupt you,
do
bro.
take like caution though, and make sure like I'm getting recovery and taking care of myself, because you know one injury will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I actually want to talk to you guys about recovery, because for me, and like my fitness journey, I've been like this, bro. Like literally, right now I'm kind of down here. I'm trying to make my way back up, you know. But a big thing for me is just injury.
Yeah.
I injured my shoulder a little bit ago, and my back. My back has been a thing for years, and I just, you know, it's fine for a little bit, and I'm deadlifting and all that, and then one day it just hurts, and I can barely walk. So what do you guys do for recovery? Like stretching? You guys do ice baths? You guys do sauna?
Okay, so I want to actually answer your question, okay? And it's
Okay.
not going to be with anything like that. I have two things. One, go watch InspoCast episode 17 with PK
watch
Fit. That dude is an absolute genius when it comes to the physiology of the body, recovery, sleep, all those different kinds of things, naturally increasing testosterone, you name it. You'll learn a lot from that. The second one is like, it's from a guy named Jeff Nippard. He's like the number one guy in terms of science-based methodology. And he explains it as like, your fitness works like that. It's kind of this highs and this lows, but like just like the stock market, right? Like it progressively keeps going up, right?
Right.
And so you'll have these peaks where you do really well, and then the only thing that actually stops you is one of two things: injury and sickness.
Okay.
So, you know, you just kind of have to ride out those waves. And I would just say the biggest thing is when you hit those spots, be very aware of what that is, right?
Right.
Because if you are, you're like, okay, I keep having this nagging shoulder pain, right?
Yeah.
But that's deriving from something, you know? And so thank God we have something called the internet these days.
To
You
look
just
it up.
something up.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And, you know, you got to be selective with your knowledge, but like if you're asked the right question, you will
Yeah.
get the right answer. So
Yeah.
that is like like, you know, you can do the stretching and the sauna, like shit, it helps for sure. But
Yeah.
like the biggest thing is having a like whole unified understanding of like who you
Of
are
what's
as a
going on.
person.
Yeah.
Because everybody's very different.
Yeah, because like I know why my injuries happened and what like because at the end there's lagging body parts, and I'm addressing those now. But ever since I started working out at 18, I was like, yeah, fuck that, bro. I'll push through it, whatever. But with stretching and just like taking like for example, my shoulder, I just had a weak rotator cuff. So
Ooh,
like
yeah.
I sit down on the bench, one knee propped up. I take a dumbbell and I'm just like this. I just do that until failure. Do a couple sets for like 1 or 2 sets to failure, and so much better. I can do push-ups now. I can bench again, lightweight, but I'm starting somewhere.
Like
No.
where?
Lightweight, baby.
I gotta try that out.
I was like, wait, what'd you say?
I gotta try that out though, because I got a bad shoulder too.
So like, what's
Bro,
your
I'm
answer
telling
though
you.
to the question? Because like I know, so like a few weeks ago, he had like a huge injury based from overtraining, right? You know,
that was
like
like
a month or two
lat,
ago.
right?
I diagnosed it with Google too.
Oh yeah.
It was a lat sprain.
Hey man.
And like I would keep going back in the gym, not giving my proper time. Like I would feel good like after 4 days, but like that's not enough time for a lat sprain. And I'd train
Right.
again, and then it'd just be worse than it was. Like I was in my bed having like back spasms, and I was like I couldn't breathe.
Damn,
I was
bro.
like suffocating. But I mean, to answer that, I just say for me, I don't really stretch. I guess I do like a little like arm circles or whatever.
Dude.
Oh,
God.
man.
I know. I something I want to get into, like stretching and
Yeah.
actually going to like a massage therapist and getting like deep tissue massages, stuff like
Yeah.
that. But I don't really do anything for recovery except just sleep and just sleep. And
Yeah, well,
like-
sleep is very important.
After you're
For
done
sure.
working out, do you just like go home or do you stretch?
I mean, I just do cardio and I hit the sauna,
Okay.
And then he edits content.
edit the content.
Yeah,
It's
Nice.
in the
It
sauna.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the
But-
sauna while doing cardio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's on there in Lightroom, just like,
Yeah.
alright,
Yeah.
bro, like, I
I'd
make
be,
myself look
I'd
juicy.
be on TikTok and Instagram just
Yeah.
making
Yeah.
videos.
Yes, sir.
That's literally what it was.
I mean,
So,
Yeah.
are you still dealing with that issue of your lat sprain?
Nah, that's donezo.
Okay.
But I do have that. It's like a nagging shoulder. I'm curious about like what happened with your shoulder. Like
Yeah,
how, like
it just over years. I think since I started working out, whenever I would bench at the bottom of the movement, it was almost like a clicking. Especially when I pushed up, it clicked. And sometimes when I did lateral raises, it would just burn, and not like a muscle burn. It was like it felt a little deeper.
yeah,
You know,
sounds like
So-
my shoulder.
So what I do is, like the resistance bands.
Mm.
I grab a small one that's like a loop, and I warm up, and they're like around my wrists, and I'm just doing this, or I'll grab it here, and then I'll raise it up, stretch it out,
Okay.
and then back like this, or I'll do like this all the way up. It looks ridiculous,
Yeah.
but I'm doing that, and then really just these like that. What I learned that was you guys know who Knees Over Toes guy is on
I
Instagram.
think I've seen him.
Yes.
He's like helps with like knee stuff.
Yeah, dude. I've never done his stuff, knee stuff at least, because I'm alright with my knees for now. But my shoulder, he had a guy on that was specifically about the shoulder, and I did that for like 2-3 weeks, and I'm feeling better, like way better. So I would recommend it for sure, especially if you're trying to get that pro car, bro.
Check it out.
You want to stay
Yeah.
injury free as most as possible.
Yeah, I'm honestly thinking I'm gonna have to have like some surgery or something. It's like something internal.
Yeah.
With like I think like the rotator cuff area, because I like dislocated it when it first happened.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
like you legit dislocated it.
It was like I don't even know, but so it was like when I first started lifting, so I didn't know what I was doing like I do now, and it was like my last set still going heavy, and I had the shoulder press up like that, and it just like came back,
Oh,
and it was like
Ooh.
6 or 7 pops, and if I would have like let it keep going, it probably would have just ripped my
just
labrum
ripped it all
yeah.
out.
And then I just fell to the ground. Someone asked me if I was all right, but it was like at that point it wasn't out, but like I had like 6 or 7 like in the next 3 months where it just like maybe reached for a basketball and it was just like boom
Yeah,
out of
yeah.
the socket. But
Yeah,
I don't think it
dude.
was a fully dislocation. It's like a subluxation is what it's called. Where it's
Yeah.
like partially out, and I just pop it back in.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I don't want to give you bad advice or anything because I'm not like a medical professor at all, you know. But I don't know. I would just recommend a lot of like what like I's and Y's are and T's.
Yeah.
With like bands or like the incline on the dumbbell where you're laying down on the bench, stuff like that. Do these cuff things. Grab yourself one of those like small bands and or shit. Even honestly, if you grab a towel and spread it apart against your wall, and then just move one up, move the other, move one down, move the other, stuff like that, just to re-strengthen the tendons and the muscles all in there. But that's just from years of looking at it. But again, bro, I'm not a,
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
May I ask you two a question?
Yeah, bro, go ahead.
What? Okay, because obviously this isn't like a fitness podcast, you know.
No,
So,
no,
like,
no.
I'm just curious, like, what is your guys' involvement in like fitness for yourself personally? Like, what does fitness mean to you guys? I know you play soccer, obviously.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
we both started off by playing soccer.
Yeah, so you go ahead.
Yeah.
And then because I feel like both of ours has changed. But because go ahead. I was about to get into mine.
So I first started off playing soccer, like all cardio. I was a fat kid. Like growing up, I started first playing soccer when I went to Tecumseh. So like my 7th grade year, I started on their team. Absolutely hated cardio. I don't know why I went back. I'm glad I did. So my 8th grade year, I went back, and that's when I really, really started liking to work out or like just run. So during like soccer practice, I was that guy that like did like the most, like try to like be coach's pet because I was trying to like get faster, better. And then like after practice, I would literally get home. I started telling my mom that like she needed to cook healthier for me because like growing up Mexican, everything is like full of like lard and like such bad things for you. So I'm like, Mom, can I just get like grilled chicken? And she's like, and then she starts putting like lard into the pan. I'm like, no, just like a little oil and then some chicken, please. And then so she starts making me that, and then that's when it really started. And there's I think I saw you posted some pictures over by Armstrong, like behind that trail or like over by where the train is. Mm-hmm. So that trail right there was like my best friend. Like I would run that all the way down and back like 10 times like every day.
So did you like live off 9th Street then?
Oh yeah, like
okay.
We're like literally on that corner where Armstrong's at. That's where my parents' house was. So I would run all the time. I didn't start lifting until that went on all through high school. I didn't start lifting until I think my junior year of high school. That's when my parents got us like a little home gym, a bench, some dumbbells, and a barbell with a decent amount of weights. That's when I first started working out. Resistance training wise, and then after that went to college over at ISU for my first year. They had a really nice gym there. Well, before that I actually worked out at Snap Fitness, but I think they're closed there now, right?
I think they closed nationally. So. RIP.
Yeah.
At least in the area, I know they closed. But okay, sorry, I didn't mean to take away.
So, which was really nice because it's 24 hours. Because I worked at Chick-fil-A back then. Like after close 10:30, Snap Fitness was right next to it. I'd go there and work out. And so after that, I went to college. Their facility there was really nice, but I didn't really know much about working out. And since like I played soccer all the time, all I would do was legs. And like I stayed in the machine area because I was really intimidated by all the jack dudes over in the freeway area. Yeah. I don't think for the 2 semesters that I was there, I never touched a bench. It was always like leg press, and then I'd go on the Stairmaster for 30 minutes or like run for 20 minutes. And then after that, I'd grab a shake afterwards because there's always like a shake shop right at the facility, and then walk to my dorm. And then after that, we moved here to Indy, and we actually got a gym membership. We started over at Planet Fitness, and that's like when I really started getting into workout and resistance training. And now I work out over at LA Fitness down the street, and like I'm trying to get more muscle mass because I kind of went through, like I started off as a fat kid, went to skinny, and then try to build some muscle mass from there. And then I bulked for like 3 years. So I got really fat, and now I'm trying to work my way down, but also trying to keep muscle mass. So that's where I'm at there. I still play soccer like literally all the time. It's my favorite. I just recently got some new cleats, and I've been doing some edits with them too. And like for my YouTube channel, I've been posting soccer videos.
Hey, go check out his channel, by the way. The videos actually are sick. I want to shoot for you sometime. I do.
Honestly, we need to do it. Yeah, that'd be really fun, man. Yeah. I'm down. Yeah, but after that, like where I'm at now, I try to work out at least 5 times a week. Like my schedule's really busy, but at the end of the day, it's not really an excuse. But I always at least do 5 times a week. Resistance training, and then afterwards I like doing like the 12-3-30 on the treadmill. And then honestly, like I tried the Stairmaster, but I don't touch the Stairmaster anymore. Yeah, I just go over to the treadmill. Yeah, but that's where I'm at right now.
So really quick, I wanted to touch on the whole like excuses thing, because I was listening in the last podcast you guys had, and you were dogging on your homie. You're like, yo, where are the YouTube videos at, bro?
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
And yeah, I really resonated with that though, because, and this is kind of tail ending, but I think it's a universal message of like, dude, if you don't do it, somebody else will.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah, for sure. You know?
I mean, like, and here's the thing. Whatever you're trying to do, 99% of the time, somebody probably has already done it but you
Yeah.
can still do it better, right?
Yeah.
I mean, weightlifting has been a thing for forever, right? I mean,
Yeah.
since Arnold, you're not gonna be the first person to invent a new lift,
Yeah.
Right.
but you can build yourself in a way that's one of a kind, right?
Exactly.
Same thing with a podcast, right? There's plenty of podcasts out there, but like what you guys are trying to do is completely different. But there's all the excuses in the world to just say no, but like you have to choose yes, because at the end of the day, I mean, you want to look back and say like, man, I was proud of myself. Like, I'm glad I did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thankful for you guys for staying a little late for us to actually come here.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
appreciate
dude,
you
right
guys
on.
driving an hour all the way over
Yeah,
here.
dude.
Yeah.
Honestly, though,
But that's what
nice.
it's about, and the memories too.
That's facts. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
right on.
It's pretty dope.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And then
No,
the
you're good.
whole walking trail thing, bro. So, okay, this was when I was a junior in college. So, another long story short, I basically went like homeless for 3 months.
Oh shit.
So I had an apartment, but I didn't have a car and I didn't have money. So I was kind of
How's
screwed.
that work?
Yeah, it didn't really work. And so I ended up like crashing on my homie's couch all the time, and he lived off of 9th Street, actually, funny enough. And I would spend my days like just walking. Like I'm not even, like hours of just like walking. Like I would walk,
Yeah.
and you'll probably know this. So do you know where like the Igloo is on the south side of town?
Yeah.
I would walk from there to campus
Holy shit.
and back
That's a long walk.
every
man.
day, bro. Like it was crazy. So it was like, it's funny enough, that trail that you're talking about was like one of my best friends too. So it
Nice.
looks like that trail's probably
Nice.
got a lot of history. You know?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
dude.
Like,
Honestly,
like all the times that I would run there, like music, headphones in my ear, music blasting. At one point, I would purposely listen to high beat music and always try to like step on the beat just to keep my pace.
Yes.
Like I've got so many memories there, and like they're good memories because it was those moments where I was like pushing myself to the max because nobody was watching but myself. It was just like a mind game. I was like, if I stop now, like obviously no one's gonna see me stop, but deep down I know that I stopped at
stopped.
that moment. So like that's like what kept me going. And like there's so many memories there.
Dude, I
Yeah.
agree.
sure.
Man.
Yeah, man.
All right, yo, we got to hear your fitness story.
Okay, so mine really started when, and I'll try to run through it because I it can kind of go on for a while, but so mine started when I was in Tecumseh as well. I tried out for the soccer team, but I quit. I didn't go to tryouts because I've always been like really shy as a person, especially because me and my cousin, I have a cousin he's a couple months older than me, and he was always at the athletic one and this and that, and I was like, whatever, like that's him, even though I wanted to be that and whatever. But so I quit during that 7th grade season. 8th grade I went back and I joined and I made the team and I played there, but I was too intimidated to continue in Jeff over at high school. So instead of doing that, I just did marching band, So it's like, oh, marching band, we're a fucking band nerd, whatever. But it's pretty physically demanding. Like, not gonna lie, it's especially during band camp in the summer. You do, I think it's like 2 or 3 weeks of 12 hours straight.
What instrument did you play?
In band, the French horn, and then in marching band was the mellophone.
Okay, that's badass though.
Yeah.
I wish I could play an instrument.
Oh, dude, don't ask me to play now though. It's bad. But yeah, so I did that again, following the same pattern. I quit freshman year, but then I went back sophomore, junior, senior. I did that, and then right after high school, I joined the Marines. And then when I was there, so before then, I had to drop like 40 pounds to even go to boot camp. So I would go twice a week. And you guys know where the recruiting center is?
Yeah.
Over in
Like by
Lafayette?
Chuck E. Cheese?
Yes, like right next to Chuck E. Cheese, basically. I would go there. I would do sets of hammer curls, pull-ups. I would open up the back door and just run all the way down that strip mall, run all the way back. And that's what they would have me doing. And so then I lost the weight when I needed to. I went off to boot camp. And then I, just did that thing. And then I had a height and weight standard to keep up in the military. So I kept my weight down because there is some fat military members, unfortunately. And I refused to be one of those guys just because you get shit on so hard. I'm like, that's not me. That is not me. So I kept the weight off. I gymmed hella hard. I started to grow some muscle, and then now I got out. It was really hard getting out because I didn't really plan it that well as far as like getting a job and setting myself up once I got here to Indy.
You were driving Lyft to like actually make your living.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. I'd stay up late just trying to make money, being anxious, just trying to make money, And I didn't gym for the longest. And then COVID hit, didn't gym. I started at home workouts. I got membership at LA Fitness. Started gymming again. Started feeling good. But I've been a fat kid all my life. Even in the military, I felt like I was a little fat. But what's it called? So then after 4 years in the military of being like constant watching what I'm eating, staying under a weight, once I got out, I'm like, yo, fuck that, dude. I'm like, no one's telling me what to do. I'm gonna chill out, have some fun for like a year or so, and like not care, work out when I want to work out, but eat what I want. And now I'm like 40 pounds heavier from when I left the military, and I'm like, damn, I put myself up. So now I'm just trying to get back to it. It's kind of ups and downs, like low-key little depression, then come back up, then back down. So just kind of riding the waves, you know what I mean?
Well, just find that happy medium for yourself.
Yeah.
I think people always get a bad rap about fitness. They're just like, it was like a good analogy about it. It's like most people think like fitness and going to the gym like takes away from your life. Like, oh, I need to go to the gym. I have to go to the gym.
Yeah.
It's like,
well, what I've been doing is I've been trying to just focus on losing weight first. Like right now I'm like, because I do want to get jacked, but I don't want that to be my focus, because every time I'm like, all right, I'm going to get jacked, I'm going to start like lifting some numbers, I get hurt. So I'm like, first and foremost, I got to focus on my diet, because it's always been the downfall. And then just do cardio, do some lifting here and there, like just shred weight, like once I get there, set up those basics, then start introducing the gym, some more like stuff like that.
I'll give you a different way of thinking about it. Think about it as you want to implement healthy habit change.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you want to, it's not about losing weight, it's not about gaining muscle, but the reality is the people that are the most jacked, they do a lot of the same shit, right?
Yeah.
And there's just some common denominators, and that's something we figured out from our podcast. It's like these people that have seen results basically do the same
things.
shit.
Yeah.
So you just have to figure out like how that fits in your life, right? And how that doesn't take away, but it adds. Like going to the gym, or going to bed for 8 hours, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, I'll sleep when I'm dead. I'll sleep 6 hours a night. It's like, well, you're actually losing 2 hours of productivity. You know? Versus you get the 8 hours, you're gonna have to work less and you're gonna do more.
Do more when you're awake.
That, right?
Yeah.
You go to the gym, you have more energy, more libido. You get like that euphoric sensation afterwards, right? Dude. That adds to your life. It doesn't take away. Plus you get jacked.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Like, you eat the meals, like you work on your nutrition. Like the shit doesn't even taste bad because you actually made it yourself. You put stuff you like in it, you know? And not only are you enjoying what you eat, but also like you're seeing results from that too, and you feel good from it. So just I would say focus on the positives and just focus on the little shit. Like that,
recently that's definitely been my focus, but it's like I said, it's not as easy as just like from one day to next or from one moment to next. Be like, bro, I got it. Maybe that'll happen, and then I'll be good. But it's a slow grind. I'm definitely switching that mentality, but it's not like a one moment to the next. At least not for me. Like I know myself. I've tried it, and it doesn't go well. So I'm taking it step day by day.
I can relate in a little different light. It's a little more personal, but I was a big substance abuser. So like I was a big weed smoker. I've talked about this on our podcast a couple of times.
Yeah.
So like I feel you though, because it was like, there'd be times where I'm like, I know this isn't good for me. Like I shouldn't be just putting myself in a hole by doing this.
Yeah.
But it's so hard to do that too, right? It's so hard to make the good conscious decision, but like it's gonna bite you in the ass at some point, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And until you hit like rock bottom, for you it's like hitting that 40 pounds. For me, it was like, I was like broke. I just sit in bed all day. I wouldn't do shit. I was depressed. It sucked. Like I didn't want to do anything.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be here, like literally. Not like that deep, but like I was just like, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah, dude.
That it finally took me to like get out of that hole.
Yeah, and it's hard to get out of that hole.
Oh, dude,
like
it was.
when you're
like,
in
the first
there,
couple of weeks, I was just
dude.
like, this sucks ass, dude.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to do this, but I'm thankful that I did. And now I'm like 3 months clean. I'm like, hell yeah,
Sure.
dude.
Hell yeah,
Life
dude.
feels good,
Nice.
What's your fitness journey? Where do you want to be? Like,
oh gosh. Okay, so I started back in like December of 2016. A very similar story to you. I was always the overweight kid. I remember I was a big baseball guy. I was actually on a huge travel team that traveled around the country to go play. And I got called dad, bro, because I had a dad bod. At 17, come on. And so, that hurt. And I remember my best friend at the time, he was He was a wrestler. He was actually he went to semi-state. He lost to the dude that won state. So he was like a state-bound wrestler. Jacked, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
And he just looked at me and was like, dude, you're fucking fat right now. Like, you are. Yeah. And he's like, you need to act, like, do something for yourself. Do something about this.
Yeah, yeah.
And I actually talked to him about it recently because we saw each other. And he's like, part of that was actually me saying that out of spite because I was jealous of all the open time you had. And I was depleted on calories. But it worked for me. Yeah. Because I took that as motivation. Yeah. I was like, you know?
Yeah.
Then January 1st of 2017 hit. I basically had been out drinking all night. I was at a lake house, whatever, like fucking 18, you know, typical 18-year-old shit. And I had a herniated disc actually. So like I got out of this couch that I was sleeping in, like contorted.
Yeah.
And I couldn't move. I was debilitated. And at that point, that's where I was like, you have to lose the weight. Like you have to. So I went on a straight bender of 5 months. I quit baseball. I just ran tracks to burn more calories. Like
right.
I'd nuke a piece of chicken in the microwave for like 12 minutes. I'd have plain Greek yogurt, not even the vanilla, like taste like fucking sour cream with like a little bit of fruit, and just do that every day. And I did it. I mean, I went from 230 all the way down to like 170.
Oh shit.
And I was like juicy by the time I got to my high school graduation. And then that's where I took it like really seriously, because then I went to Purdue. And I was like, but I want to do more in this, you know? Right. My life was changed by this, and I want to change the lives of others. And that's where like the whole Houston thing comes in, because I watched a lot of social media. Shout out Christian Guzman, shout out LT Visual, shout out all the boys that he talked about too. But like those are my inspirations. Those are the people that like I wanted to achieve that for myself, and they taught me those things, and I wanted to give that to others. So I ended up pursuing kinesiology as like my degree path. Got involved in the local fitness community. I worked at Planet Fitness for about a year, and then I worked at 5 Star for about 14 months. And throughout the process, I mean, I went through the learning curves like you, bro. It was up and down, up and down. And it was my senior year where I kind of like, it just clicked, you know. It was just like, I figured out that I don't want to go through these phases anymore. I just want to feel at least decent all the time, not be out of shape. And so that's where I just kind of dialed in my consistency. And I mean, it's like, I'm not at peak physique right now, but I also don't like, you know, I'm not like fat.
You look pretty solid.
I appreciate that.
You opened the door and I'm like, dude, I expect you to be like probably my height. You're like, I'm like, holy shit, this guy's solid.
But yeah, I mean, that's kind of how it went down. I was just so impacted by other people and my own personal fitness that I just wanted to like do everything I could to get involved in this community and like long term. I mean, you'll probably ask us about that long term, but like I want to be like in that sphere of like those top guys that like really impact lives. I'm not saying we don't impact lives now, because we do, but I'm saying on a grand scale. Like that's where I want to be long term.
So then you guys are trying to do that a lot with your podcast?
I would say like a few different things. It's like, okay, so like that's kind of like our group initiative, and then I think both of us have our own like individual way of saying like this is how we want to leave our mark. Like what is it for you, honestly? Like how do you want to like leave your legacy as Eliaz in fitness, you know?
I guess just being known for, you know, being there for everybody and just being real.
I would say like the biggest thing I always think about with you is like, I mean, bro, you were like that sad depressive kid that like did lose that weight, and like you're the one that like says stuff and you do it every time basically. So like the IFBB Pro, when that comes into existence, and it's like, this kid is not kidding, you know? Yeah, for myself, I kind of realized it's like, I think the fitness, like bodybuilders and stuff, I still want to have a great physique. I really do. But it's so saturated. And what I started to find out was like, I really love creative media, just like podcasts, things like that. And that's where I kind of fell in love with photography and videography. And there's like a few people in this realm that do it. One guy that I mentioned earlier, his name's LT Visual, Joe Latona. He lived in New Jersey, basically packed up all his bags, moved to Houston. I mean, like, bro, just like went down there and did it. Yeah. And now he shot for everybody. He shot for Chris Bumstead. He shot for James English, Sush. He's the full-time videographer for a guy named Jack D'Italian, who's probably a rising star in the game. Shot for Christian Guzman. I mean, like everybody. He just got sponsored by Young LA, which is like the biggest brand in the game. Yeah. We've gotten a chance to talk to him a few times, like on social media. We actually reached out to him to have him on our podcast.
Nice.
So long story short, actually tomorrow I'm booking my ticket. We're going to Houston late July. and we're going down there to collab with people and just like
Heck yeah.
see what it's about, you know. And he said if we're down there, he'll do it. So
Right on.
it's like
That's
big news
exciting.
for
Right
us, but
on.
he's like
Yeah,
the
dude.
most genuine dude ever. So, but like what he's done with a camera and documented this stuff is like amazing to me.
Mhm.
And I was like, I want to do that myself.
Yeah, and I think more often than not, you find more people in the fitness community that just want to help.
That's everybody. Like
Yeah.
everybody that's like a real. Think about the term influencer, right? Like you're influencing people.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you're trying to steer people in a positive direction through your actions, right?
Yeah.
I was listening to a podcast today, and it was like, this is the true definition of an influencer. I remember X and X always had this white monster in his hand. White monster, white monster, white monster. Wasn't even advertising, just always had it, you know?
Yeah.
And then every time this dude would go in a gas station, go into a grocery store, whatever, saw white monster, he goes, oh wait, that's the drink that like that dude would get. And he bought one
And
for
then you
himself.
just buy
you know?
one.
But
Yeah.
it's like, you know, doing those little kinds of things, those habits and patterns that you have that
Mhm.
affect people positively. That was just like a random one. But like, you know, you're always in the gym shooting content, right? Or you're always in the gym working on yourself, right? That's being a good influencer.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, I always see this dude lifting weights. Maybe there's something about that. I
Yeah,
actually
like
learned.
maybe that stuff actually helps out.
Yeah.
You know?
And then bam, that literally starts somebody on the same exact path that they were on. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, there's
Yes,
been
it
you guys know him, and you have him. You had him on your podcast already. Vic, he's like answered. He's gone out of his way to like reach out to us to be like, hey, like, this would probably help you out a little bit more, like specifically for me for like my reels whenever I post any or on my YouTube channel. He's like, hey man, like, I didn't know this, but he's like, hey, try recording at 60 frames per second instead of 30
Instead
if
of
you're
the
trying to
30.
do slow mo. I'm like, dude,
Yep.
that literally like that helped so much, and like he's the type of guy to like try to help everybody else, because I mean, like, honestly, where he's at right now is where some people would say that he's made it, and I mean, he's gonna do way like
Oh, yeah.
way bigger things, but like he's at right now is like a solid spot, and he's like from Lafayette. I think, well, I don't really know too many other people.
Well, we
besides,
can
like,
talk about it
us.
too, about the community. But
Yeah.
you're right though. He is like the dude.
Yeah.
And funny enough, he's actually the reason I figured out about this podcast.
Oh yeah.
Oh, dead ass?
He recommended it to me. He's like, bro, go check out my homies. Dude, they do some great stuff with their podcast. You know, at least check it out. You'll probably pick up a few things from it. I started watching. I was like, damn,
Heck
shout
yeah.
out, dude. You know, like,
Right
that's
on, hell yeah.
awesome. So that's kind of how it first started. Obviously, like you obviously giving us support on our podcast, one greatly appreciated. I
Dude.
showed him the messages
Yeah.
earlier, man, because we are appreciative of the support. But no, you guys are doing something great here too. That's the thing.
Appreciate
Yeah.
it.
So,
Right on.
but no, Vic, man, that dude is. Do you know him?
Yeah, he's our cousin.
Okay, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what he told me. I
Yeah.
wasn't sure. How are you guys related, by the way?
We're
I-
brothers.
Dang, dude, I had
You
this whole
really?
thing. Why'd you have to say that?
Oh, dude, you told me, bro.
I was gonna be like, bro,
Like
we,
that-
we
like,
met
actually,
like
I wouldn't have guessed that. Damn.
I was
Okay.
gonna tell him that we met like really young.
Oh.
Yeah, and
Especially my boyfriend.
Yeah, but you see his wedding rings?
Yeah, we're actually brothers.
Yeah, okay. But no, everything that you said about him is like so right. Like in
Yeah.
terms of just like his helpful nature, like that's all the dude is. And actually, the first time I really got to meet him, or like us in general, we saw him at the gym. He was in town for some family stuff. Somebody you guys probably know about.
Yeah.
Came in for an emergency
Yeah,
and stuff
yeah.
like that. But the next day I had a workout with him, and then afterwards we like hopped in my car, us three, and he was just kind of like telling us about his life, like the military, how he got into photography, videography, like all those kinds of things. And he's like, yeah, and for me, I've always been the person to just like give my everything, like give too much to people, and I've had to try to learn how to like reserve myself because people will take advantage of that,
Yeah.
you know. So I think part of that is just like in his nature. But
Yeah, he's always been like that ever since we were young.
Yeah.
to his
Always.
advantage though, like I mean, like he helps everybody, dude, and he's such a relatable, personable person, while also like I mean, he just knows he has a work ethic, man. Like he works hard, and when he has a vision of something, he told us this, and I'll never forget this, but he was just like, if I want it, I will get it. And that's how he lives his whole entire life. And like, especially when it came to filmmaking, when it came to pursuing fitness, like he's done all of it. So combo those two qualities together,
Yeah.
you got a superstar
Unstoppable,
in the making,
bro.
man.
Yeah.
So I think it was inevitable that at some point he was going to reach a some sort of threshold, and it really hit when he started to do some more of his creative content. But
Yeah.
we recognized that, and we were like, dude, we want to get to know this dude.
Yeah, dude.
And I remember the first time I saw him in January. I never talked to him because I thought he was like, you know, one of those people that's like out of reach almost, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's just not who he is. He's just a normal dude.
Nah, dude.
He shows support on literally like every one of our podcasts, all of our personal posts.
Yeah.
I bet he does the same thing for you guys.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So to have somebody on your team like
He
that.
he probably give you a lot of tips with like photography and just like filmmaking, right?
Yeah. I would say I've learned a lot too.
Yeah.
I've been like always super fascinated about it. So it was cool to just like be able to talk to somebody. I would say it's like quote unquote like on my level when it comes to like at least the knowledge side.
Right, right.
His experience, like definitely way more. The dude is a master with the camera.
Dude.
Shout out Vic, by the way, if you hear this.
shout
I'm
out,
sure you will. But yeah, no, dude, he was a monster, and it was a pleasure to have him on the podcast too, learn about him. But he's not the only one. That's the thing, though.
Yeah.
Because he's 20, well, he's 24, turns 25 in August. I know
Yep.
that. Dude, there are some rising stars in Lafayette. Like, obviously, I mean, Elias being one of those people. The three people that I think of that are in the kind of like this little unique group, him, Daniel Garrido is his name, Lil Danny Lifts, and Jake Butcher. Those three are going to be unstoppable forces in this fitness community at large. I'm not even saying locally, bro. I'm saying like go move somewhere else, like take it to the top.
Yeah, like
stuff.
nationwide, internationally, stuff like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, like that's the type of potential these people have. And I think it's because they're, you know, they've learned a lot from other people, but they're so unique in their own regard.
Right.
Like, you know, Jake, I think about him. That man has crafted his physique since like 16. I mean, he's been 4 years nonstop. You know, he's just the most humble dude ever. Like, he just goes in the gym and he's always like, I'm not enough. And I'm like, bro, you're everything. Like, come on, dude, get out of here.
He's literally like dream physique.
He is. Like he has the physique that everybody wants.
Yeah.
And he's sitting here like, man, I can do better, you know? So I think it's.
Yeah,
him,
but it's that mentality that's going to keep him going. It's that mentality that's going to take him internationally, you know, to get whatever deals he wants, you know? So, I don't know. I think it's cool. And that's like a big goal of this podcast. Is to bring not just like the fitness people, but like any like creator or even like people who took the traditional route, just to kind of bring them on, talk about like where'd you come from, how'd you get to where you were, what was your struggles going through it, stuff like that. Because at the end of the day, like that's the stuff I listen to.
Yeah.
You know,
You learn a lot. You learn a lot
Yeah.
from people's stories, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, you'll start to pick up on these little bits and pieces of like what success actually looks like. Right?
Yeah, and it's not the same for everybody
Right.
at all. It might be like similar, at least similar mindset, but as far as like going through it, it's different for everybody.
Right.
Like 100% different.
I like that niche that you guys have. Ours is just fitness because we just love fitness. You
Yeah,
know?
man.
And, like,
Hey,
that's
bro,
like-
there's nothing wrong with
Well,
that. That's a great community to be in.
And you guys are doing really good because, like, especially since you had your virtual podcast, you can literally like have somebody over in England like on your podcast.
Well, you guys had and I'm not gonna remember his name because I'm really bad at it, but that one guy from New York.
Kali. No,
Yes.
Kai.
Yeah. Kai. Yeah, I know it's hard with a K. And I listened to it, and dude, that dude was like, his energy was like up here.
yeah,
I was
I'm
listening
12,
to it, and I'm like, dude, I gotta go do something. You know? As I was listening to it, I'm like, dude, I gotta go on a run. Like, I gotta do something. It's cool because he's from New York.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, the other way you guys would do it is either he comes here, you guys go there. But
That was actually the whole virtual thing was a super interesting story because like how we started. So I mean, obviously we did episode 6 as a virtual, but that was kind of rando. Because the first couple we did, you know, it was just like trying to get our feet in the water, just like figure out what this all was about. And then I don't remember how it came to be. It was okay, Alex. I remember that much, but I don't remember how we came to the conclusion. But we're like, you know, let's try a virtual. You know, like let's really try to do this. And then once we started to see success with it. Not even just from a viewership standpoint, but just from like, oh, wow, we can actually do this. You know?
right.
Then we were like, yeah, let's seek this as an avenue because like I don't see a lot of people doing that, you know?
No.
Now, long term, I will say, you know, we tend to have the best conversations in person. Like,
Yeah, that's just the way it happens. Like, because virtually it's like, especially if you have more than one person on the other side, you talk, you speak, and then you wait for them to speak.
It's more like
versus-
an interview type of vibe.
Yeah.
Because we had one
Yeah.
episode where we had on one of our buddies that we used to work with. We had him on as like a virtual one as well, and that's the only one we have as virtual. And it was kind of, it felt more like an interview than we were like hanging like right now. Like this is more of like a chill vibe, and that's kind of like we speak, like we ask a question, there's like a little delay, and then we wait for them to answer. And if they do like a 2-word answer, there's like another little delay. So like in person is like our go-to, but we wouldn't mind going virtual as well.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I will say long term, we're actually going to be moving the HQ. We're not
No,
gonna
I
talk
was
about-
just about to ask if you guys are planning to stay in Lafayette, or if you guys are gonna move anywhere else. Is this like
We
low-key
actually talked
secret
about this
information?
before. I told him we're not going to tell anybody yet. We actually
Oh, shit.
If you want this cut out, we can cut it out.
No, we're not. We don't have to
Okay,
cut it.
okay.
It's just so like this was actually right before we did the Vic podcast. It was weird. So like that Vic podcast was 3 months in the making. We literally like spoke that into existence. The first name that we ever wrote down was Vic Visual.
Nice.
We didn't know him or anything. We just knew like we want him on, and it happened. And so right before that podcast, we took a little video and talked about where we want to go with the podcast, and we're gonna save it for like an epic TikTok. So it's gonna be
Okay.
and we just spoke this shit into existence.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
like, hey,
yeah.
we're gonna let it speak for itself.
I like
But,
a little mystery, you know.
It is.
Leave it there, so when it comes, bam, it's
but
there.
just know, I mean, our intention is to have the biggest creators in the fitness space on the podcast, and we're gonna go to a place that's gonna allow us to do that. That's all I have to say.
Okay.
Mysterious.
Little
Okay.
tease.
I'm gonna put it right out there. I'm thinking Houston or like the Texas area, and you guys don't have to say anything. Like try to keep a straight face or whatever. But
He's got a really good.
yeah. Elias got a good one, bro. But I'm thinking somewhere in Texas for sure, because a lot of the people that I watch are kind of in that area. LA is kind of like a standard one, just because you think of LA, all that stuff. So those are like my two guesses. So we'll see what happens.
So the 4 hotbeds of fitness, I would say right now, are the 2 places that you named. So Houston, LA. The other 2 are Miami is becoming a fitness hub now.
Oh,
It's
for
kinda
real?
weird.
Oh.
Zoo Culture is a massive gym by Bradley Martin. He's
Yes,
actually going
I
to be
know
opening
that
up a
one.
location there. And then the East Coast, it's really weird, but the Jersey Boys, what they call them, guys like David Lay, Dylan McKenna, Anthony Manatello, James English is from there. I mean, like a bunch of these guys, it's like this weird hub for fitness. These
I
guys
know, yeah. You guys know who Juji Mufu is?
Yeah.
Yeah? He's from North Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah, so that East Coast, he's
East Coast
he's
is
out there
big.
repping it.
I mean, the cool thing is like there's creators everywhere. Like
Yeah.
it's not.
Yeah, you're right.
It's not exclusive to any place or form, but like there is more density of that population in certain areas than others.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
Like I mean, Zoo Culture, Gold's Gym out in LA, like Alpha Lee, Las Vegas is becoming one too. With what's the gym called?
Dragon Lair.
Dragon Lair,
that's
yeah.
another one too,
I know about that one.
You got the Nike facility in Oregon. Like, I mean, there's like all these different
Yeah,
places.
dude.
So, yeah, they're all hotbeds, but it's just about like one. I mean, can you afford to live in whatever these places
Yeah.
are? Like, find a
Obviously, you've got to
bro.
do some like planning and
Oh,
be
yeah.
smart about it, not just like.
I
Or,
will
I
say
mean-
it's not LA because when we were listening to actually your last podcast when you were talking about Zillow,
Oh, dude.
and
Yeah.
bro, screw that.
Yeah, dude,
Like,
exactly.
no.
It sounds nice, but I'll go visit, But as far
Yeah.
as living, I'm good.
Maybe like
you know?
Las Vegas and then get people from LA.
Right. But you were 100% right, though. Like, you have to have the intention of, like, actually making money out there before you ever even move there to do it. Like, I think some of these other places, I mean, like, Austin's becoming a hotbed now for people, and it's just because living cost is lower. And, I mean, you can actually afford to move there.
Yeah,
And
for now, bro. But
yeah, for now. For now.
yeah,
Uh,
because Joe Rogan's been hyping that place
Oh,
up.
I know.
Yeah.
But, some of these other places I think about, like Houston, Miami's definitely not one. But even the East Coast, like, I mean, you could have some money, 10 bags in your pocket and move down there on a whim, and you could probably pull it off,
Oh yeah, for sure.
Just
Definitely.
kind of on the fly, figure it out. So yeah, that's my goal right now, at least.
Oh, yeah, I like it.
That's really a smart idea because I mean, if you do move into one of those spots, you're gonna be like at the end of the day, you could get them online, but once you get them in person, you make that connection with them, which will lead to like them bringing you more connections. So like it's gonna like build you up.
And it's more than just the podcast too. I think, for the both of us, we have personal initiatives we want.
Yeah.
And like I always told myself, I create the friends that I have in my life, and like I want to be surrounded by the people that I like aspire to be.
Right.
Yeah.
And so
Right.
the only way to do that is really to go move to those populations in the first place.
Yeah.
So I mean, you got to take the risk, but you're gonna get the reward if you put yourself out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
Oh yeah. Right on.
That's my rant.
Nah, I like it. I like it. Nice. So with, oh man, I don't know. So you guys are trying to move soon?
So the tea time is January.
January.
Yes.
Right on.
So I actually just picked up a new job. I'm actually in auto sales. And I kind of made up I made a like savings plan for how I'm going to attack this whole situation. You know,
Right.
what my living costs are going to be, all these different kinds of things. Kind of figure out a way to just, get by while I'm down there while having at least like a nest, and put everything into what we want to do through content creation, through this podcast, everything, building our self brands and building our brand is like a band of brothers.
Yeah.
So I know you both have your own personal YouTube channels, right?
He posts a lot more than I do.
Yeah. Because Eliaz, you do more of like fitness, obviously.
Yeah,
working
fitness.
out, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've seen a couple of your videos and you do more like a vlog style.
Mm.
Yeah. So what are your
Yeah.
long-term goals for your personal channel?
Long-term goals, I'm curious to see where like my YouTube page goes. It's not my priority.
Uh-huh.
My priority is my production page right now, because I think that actually has monetary value behind it. I've actually I just got a paid gig last week that I got paid on.
Hell yeah.
I just got a gig with like a local school corp, and then I got another dude asking for some commission work too. So I'm like, there's actually money to be made in this.
Oh,
and, like,
definitely.
pretty fast. And also, it's a way for me to really test my talents. Like the way you're really gonna figure out if you're a good photographer, videographer, you got the vision, anything, is go out there in the field and try. And so
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, whatever I can get. That's why I'm like, bro, I probably bug you if anything. I'm just like, bro, let me shoot pictures. Let me fucking shoot a video. No,
That's part of the
I don't do
grind,
it.
man. You got to make the content.
I know, but it's almost like I'm bugging people. I'm just like, yo, let me shoot for you. Let me shoot for you. But
Oh, you're sleeping, bro? Let me shoot for you.
dead ass. But it's like, put in the work now so that people start recognizing it, seeing that that's a skill set that you have, and then finally they're gonna start coming to you.
Yeah.
True.
It's kind of what we started to realize with the podcast too. Like, we had to really reach out when we first started, but now we're starting to get a few more people, and a few more people are like, yo, hey, you looking for guests on the podcast?
Yeah.
Like, or at least it's a lot easier conversation, I'm just like, hey, you want to come on the podcast? Hell yeah, I love what you guys are doing. Let me on, So
Right.
instead of like pulling teeth, being like, dude, I gotta go on this podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, like nobody watches the thing anyway. Like, what's going on?
Exactly.
Hell yeah.
So, no, that's where I'm at. I don't know, like, where do you want to take your page right now, bro? To the moon, obviously.
I mean, first get to the 1,000 and then the 4,000 watch hours, so I can start making money on there.
Yeah. Start getting
Yeah.
monetized.
Bro, you're almost at the 1,000. You're at what, 700 something?
796, I think.
You're
jeez.
literally there, man.
Yeah, I just gotta stay more consistent.
Bro, after
on
this
it.
one, you're gonna hit 1,000. After this episode, just wait.
Let's hope so.
yeah.
But not like when I first started, I was so consistent because I was like more. I guess I was like leaner, so I was more confident to just go out and film myself.
Right.
And but I busted out in the first like 3 months, like seven, 8 videos, and they did pretty good. One of them's like over 1,000, and then I'm just trying to get back into that consistent bi-weekly or weekly grind, and I just want to take it to a point where my full-time job is YouTube, getting paid for like a supplement and a clothing line, salary, and stuff like that, like being able to make a living out of my passion.
Do you already, because I know you have like a code. Is it Rocky Gains?
I
Is
don't
that
want
what
to put it in there.
Oh, okay.
Just I don't really like promote it that much anymore.
Uh-huh.
Just because I don't really like how they go about things. Like they don't promote it as much as I'd want them to promote it, so I'm not going to promote it for them.
Okay,
Right,
yeah, that
right.
makes sense.
Yeah.
If they're not promoting it, like,
I'm probably just going to drop it just because I'm trying to get bigger sponsors. So I'm not. I know my value. Like I'm not going to just go with companies and people see that and they just think I want to make money.
It's a trial and error thing,
Yeah.
too, I will say. Like, I think that was a good lesson that you learned, too, of like, man, it's worth it to just work on myself and grind it out until, I can really make it there. Because it's like, I heard this. It was a good quote from a different podcast, but it was like, bro, why would you try to, like, shoot for a code when you could just, like, build yourself up, have 100,000 followers on Instagram, and sell something yourself?
literally, like, make your own apparel, your own, like, merch.
You can make something stupid. Like, one thing? Oh, where is it? I don't even know where my phone is. Dude, I'm going to start selling these. I had this little magnet on my phone, so it, like, sticks onto everything. Like, I'll just, like, in the gym. They're like these metal poles, so just stick it up
Oh,
there and it
that's
just sticks
cool.
there.
Yeah.
I swear I have like 10 people every single day being like, what? How do you do that? I'm like, I need to start selling these things.
Yeah,
bro.
dude, for real.
But it's like then when you got 100,000 followers and you just make a video about it, it's like, bam, now you can
Yeah.
make oodle money, So why are you
Yeah,
searching for a
yeah.
code? I mean, you could just do your own thing.
Literally,
Yeah.
yeah. And I know you post like the video you posted today on your King Culture Instagram. You ever thought about just literally taking that video and posting it on YouTube too?
Yeah, I have. I do believe so, and like this is kind of something we've realized, especially with the podcast, of like recirculating content. I don't like to do it. I mean, I could build up my repertoire there, but then it's like, I don't know. I think what's going to happen long term is I'm going to put the full production on YouTube, actually, yes. And then I'm
Right.
going to put maybe a minute clip on Instagram trying to bait people into
YouTube.
Yeah.
And it's going to transfer more into photography too. Like I really want to get into shooting for the best of the best in the world when it comes to physiques. Like to shoot for David Lade was like a dream of mine.
Dude, that would
if
be
I could
crazy.
ever shoot for that dude, like I'd probably cry. I would cry.
You're probably
you know?
crying as you're taking the photos. You're tearing up.
But it's like that dude's my age, and like I've been following his journey since basically he started, probably like 17.
Yeah.
Well, he started when he was 14, but like we're pretty damn close, when he really started. And I don't see that as like out of the realm, I'm like, he's my age. We have similar interests. Like
Right.
he talks very intellectually. I do too. Like I think we'd have a good conversation. Like I just want to find a way for me to be able to get into his presence, so to speak, and at least his mind. And for
Right.
me, it's like getting a camera is the one way to do that right now.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Start putting it out there. Start venturing out.
Yeah.
That's the only way you're going to do it.
I mean, my worst's not the camera, but like it gets me in the door,
Yeah,
So, and then I can really start to shine. So that's at least what my vision is right now. And shooting
Heck yeah,
for this
dude.
motherfucker, and yeah, you blown up. We always say hashtag to the moon. That's
Hashtag
our
to the
that's
moon.
because we are. That's where we want to go.
Yeah.
That's
you know?
your podcast logo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, InspoCast, and it's
InspoCast.
hashtag to the moon.
To
That's
the
like
moon on
our
the bottom.
that's like our brand
Yeah.
tag.
How'd you guys come up with the logo?
Oh. The first logo or like our now logo?
The one you have now. We'll start from the first and then how you got into the
Okay,
logo.
actually, how did you
Yeah.
create the first logo? I don't know, bro.
So we started the podcast and we are gonna shoot the next day. So I just came up with something that would be like temporary, with the idea that we would just make a new one like within a month or two.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep. And then we're like calling one night while I was up in college, and we're like, we're just gonna get this logo busted out. We got on Canva, so like we can edit at the same time, and we just came up with that.
So like on
Nice.
Google Docs, like you can like write.
Yeah.
It's like the same thing. It blew my mind. I didn't know it. But no, you gotta keep telling the story, bro. This shit's crazy. Ooh, is that the story?
He's like, bro, I'm done. What are you talking about?
No, so like we spent like 3 hours on it, and I remember at the same time. So like it's weird. So I still live with my dad right now, and it's so I can get my cash flow up. But he's kind of like followed us throughout the whole entire podcast. It's kind of weird. We always say shout out Papa Booch. Because he'll be like walking through sometimes when we're doing the podcast and stuff, and he kind of heard us talking, and it was weird. He like sent me a picture, and it was a picture of InspoCast. He like was upstairs making a logo for us
Oh,
while we
shit.
were doing it.
Nice.
So I'm like,
Oh.
yo, this man's over.
Yeah,
It's like,
holy
shit.
yeah.
cow.
And it really pushed us. And I remember like the first two things we said, we were like, we want a rocket and we want a moon, and that's all we know.
Yeah.
And then we just started playing around with it. 3 hours later, we're like, bro, we got it. Like we did it,
Yeah.
And so my dad like sent us some logos, and I remember I showed it to him because I showed him like the first prelim, and he was like, "That sucks. Like, get out of here." I'm like, "Screw you, Dad." And I showed him the second one, the real one. He's like, "Oh, whoa, that's pretty good."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Damn right."
You're like, yes, it does.
We put up a poll the next day to see which one they like, my dad's or ours, and it was unanimous, boys.
Nice.
We got our logo.
That's what's up.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, that was the story, but it was kind of it was definitely a lot of work. And I mean, I know like for the future of the podcast, we have our own website, InspoCast.com.
Oh, that's right,
as
yeah.
well. We have every single episode. Well, I need to update it, but we basically have every single episode up on there with the descriptions. You click on it, sends you straight to the video, goes over our little description. And the big thing we want to push in the future is merch. Something to be tangible for the audience to be able to hold on to,
Right.
especially in this community. So that's going to be kind of a long-term vision. I know we said summer of 2022. We'll kind of see where that pans out now. But, yeah, just adding the little layers as time goes. And, I mean, you guys know it too. Like, production value over time, right? Trying to get a little bit better every time. Maybe a little short intro sequence. I really like how you guys do your thumbnails. Your thumbnails are always really, really good.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
And
it's all Pablo for like the past 3 months.
Dude, like it's good.
Thanks, bro.
Man.
Appreciate it, man.
And how you do the descriptions and everything, like it's really, really good. So there's stuff I've learned from you guys for our podcast.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, just a little stuff over time, but
yeah. Well, like us, one thing we're probably gonna take is I really like how you guys do your beginning intro of being like, hey, we had this person on. These are kind of like the things we talked about. And then it cuts to like the intro you guys made, and then it cuts to the podcast. So I think we're going to kind of take some form of that and implement it ourselves because it's clean. You know, the viewer opens it up and they know what's coming versus just kind of waiting and be like, oh, I wonder what's coming up next. Mm-hmm. They already know what's coming so they can be prepared for it.
We called them the shameless plugs, but I remember doing those at the beginning of the episodes and I was like, bro, screw that. Why don't we just like make a 40-second like clip?
Yeah.
Just put it in there. Every time, new viewer comes on, first time they see it, old viewers, they can just fast forward.
Right.
And then we can actually just get into the sauce. Like, we don't have to worry about,
have you guys thought about doing like a timestamp in the description?
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Yeah,
man, because when you're editing, like the way I did it, we used to do it before. We haven't really put it in like recently. But the way, like, you literally, like, as you edit the podcast, I had my phone, I'm like, all right, at this time, put this title. And then like again, and then once you go into the description, you copy and paste it and it automatically does it. But it takes a long time. And I think the reason I stopped doing it is because I legit just forgot. And then I didn't want to go back all the way through the podcast and then do it again.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Okay, actually, I have a question for you guys. I think both of us can answer this because this is pretty interesting. What is your guys' like edit flow, like post? Because I think like a lot of people, they just see the video. You're like, oh, that's cool. But it's like, bro, you don't. Well, obviously, we've all gotten better at it, right?
Right.
I think time's been condensed, but it's still a lot of work. It's not like it's just like, you just press one button, you press another, and you're done. Like, that costs thousands of dollars to do.
Yeah,
dude. Know that.
Yeah.
So, like, what is your guys' like editing flow post? Like, how do you guys go about it?
As far as like who edits what and stuff like that?
Yeah, like who has what priority, and then like how do you just like to make an episode, what do you guys actually have to do?
Yeah, so back when, because we started this last fall, right? And we were both in school, and I had a really heavy workload because it was my first semester at IUPUI, and he's about to graduate here in like 2 semesters. So so he did the video editing because and I was working with that computer and it could not handle DaVinci at all. Mm-hmm. So and I have a subscription with this program called PicMonkey, and that's where I do all my thumbnail editing. And I already was familiar with the program, so he did all the video stuff. I did the thumbnail and the description, and then that's how we did it for months. And now that we're in summer, we kind of have a different game plan to where he takes one episode where he's doing from beginning to end. He's like kind of setting everything up, making sure it flows well, and he's gonna do all the video editing, the thumbnails, the descriptions, posting it, the reels on Instagram, the whole aspect. And then the next video, then it'll be my turn. So that way, because I have a YouTube channel, but I haven't posted on it in a while. I would like to start getting back on it.
Calling you out right now, bro.
So then that way, 1 week he can focus on his YouTube, and I have to worry about the podcast. So I'll take on the responsibilities of the podcast, and we just alternate throughout the summer.
And so when we first started, I had this laptop, and I didn't know anything about editing. Downloaded DaVinci because I think that's what you told me to download.
Yeah, because from Vic, he told me to get DaVinci.
Honestly, so here's my recommendation. I play with DaVinci. I have Final Cut. I really like it. If you have a Mac, I would invest in it. If you have the money laying around, do it.
Yeah,
like for sure.
Yeah, I heard Final Cut's really good.
Yeah,
but so I used DaVinci, and like the first 2 episodes you actually did because you knew how to work DaVinci. Because
it took me like 2 days. Like after rendering, it'd be like 4 hours left. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, so I started editing then. I'm like, holy cow, like this is an hour long. So I would literally sit here, watch the whole podcast, and like back then we only had one camera, so it was actually a lot easier to where we just line up the audio and the camera, and then like there wasn't really much editing going, and like maybe towards the end cut it off, put our outro, and then render it and upload it to YouTube. But now that like we have separate cameras, we have to like obviously match everything or like align everything with the audios and everything. And then the way we do it, it was different last podcast because that was the first time we tried doing it with 4 separate angles to where it was all on one screen. But normally we would just like cut through, like let's say I'm talking right now, it's on my face. Like when you guys are talking, it's gonna cut to your face, and like we would just like drag the clips down. And it takes, when I first started doing that, it took me like, for an hour-long podcast, it was probably like 6 hours the first time that I did it. But like I've gotten used to like the buttons, the editing, like how to smoothly move everything around. It takes me like maybe, I haven't edited in a while because Pablo's been doing it, but before I think I stopped editing, you took over like 2 months ago.
It was like right before you got married.
Yeah, so it took me, an hour podcast took me like maybe 30 minutes. So like I looked at like, if I'm speaking for a long period of time, I'm going to look at the audio and be like, all right, I'm going to clip my clip there, drag it down. That's where like it's going to cut to me. So like it would save me time, so I wouldn't have to sit there and like watch through the whole podcast. Because I already knew what we talked about. I just have to like go to the key points. If I want to zoom into Pablo's face or like cut to Pablo's face to see his reaction, I'll go there. Like I was literally in the podcast. I know like when it's gonna happen.
Yeah. I was gonna say like the other way I'd go about it, I would put like all your clips in there, and then what you could do, you know, obviously do the cuts like you do, and then just mute the other clips. So then it's just only gonna show the one, you know, or I mean, it's really however you want to go about it. But like I've thought about doing that too. But I've always been so scared because I'm like, bro, I don't want to put in that much work. Like, I don't want to have to like, I don't want to zoom in this dude's face and then go to the next dude. Like, oh,
it adds like at least like another hour of work. Yeah, you know, especially at first, because you do kind of have to scrub through it. And then what he said, what helps is when you use the audio, is because especially when you label the audio and you see one person not saying anything, all right, just cut him out. Yeah, on that part.
Dude, that's so nice. It's just like for me, I always think about sustainability. I'm always like, I want to have an X level production value when I shoot these. So if I don't believe I can do this long term, I'm not. And I'm going to wait until it gets big enough to where I can just hire somebody to do it.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, that's kind of where we're at too. At one point that would be nice, you know, but we kind of have a couple steps before we get there, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but you got to prioritize. I mean, like, and that's, you know, a good for you guys because production value is really good. Like when I was watching when you guys were doing the split clips like that, I was like, damn, dude, I can't believe they actually do this. Like I recognize that work, so I was like, I didn't want to do it myself. You know?
It takes somebody to recognize that too, because like any like other person that just watches that doesn't really do it.
This is a normal podcast.
Yeah, that's cool.
You don't understand what that took, but so that's where I've always thought about. You know, money is powerful because there's different types of technology that you can get to be able to do those kinds of things live. So it's a it's a Blackmagic. It's called an ATEM switcher. So what it does is it syncs all of your video and all of your audio into one box. Okay. So now all you have to do is press one button to start, one button to stop, pull out your SD card. It's right there.
That's nice.
Now that costs you $600.
Yeah.
But, you know, you think about the, you know, what value are you going to get out of that? I mean, that's big time, right? And it has this thing to where you can sync it up. You could sync it up to every one of your cameras, right? That's camera 1, that's 2, that's 3. You know, you could be sitting over there, or you could have some other dude pay him $10 an episode. Click on the buttons, make sure it's on everybody. You could sync it up to that TV. You could see everybody live right here.
Yeah.
Press in, you're done, you know, and now you just saved yourself all your editing work, and it turned out even better than if you were just
spend the time on it.
But yeah, that's the thing. You're either gonna put in the time or you're gonna put in the money, right? That's the only way you can go about it. So
well, right now we're in the putting in the time.
Putting in the time. I mean, all of us are, right? We just started, so. It's interesting how you guys do the flow, though. You guys switch back and forth.
Yeah,
we don't really do it that way.
We found it's going to be more efficient for us during the summer for us to be able to get more guests on. Because, for example, like if we double book ourselves, because we post every Sunday. So, like weekly, every Sunday, 100%, we're having an episode come out. But there's some weeks where we record twice. So, like one of those videos I'm taking care of. So, for example, if we had both those guests and I was in charge of both those edits, I have to rely on Pablo to like do the thumbnail for them and I have to like communicate to him. But the way like splitting it up, I'm in charge of this episode. I've got everything. I don't have to rely on Pablo or like text him, be like, hey man, do you have this? So like I got this episode, he's got that episode, and like if usually like towards the end, like if we have something that like, hey, like do you think this is cool, or like do you like this messed up, like We talk to each other.
We just asked for feedback, and we recently started like a recording schedule on Google Docs that we share. So on there, it's like the day we have a guest, who's coming, what time, who's editing the episode, and once it's released, there's a column in there for completed, and we just type in completed or yes, and then that gets saved into the record, so we can look back at it years down the road.
Bro, we got a lot of shit to learn. Dude, that reminds me of my last job, bro. No, shout out, dude. Like seriously, that's awesome to hear because. I mean, that's inevitably what you have to do to take yourself to the next level, right? And that shows how serious you guys are.
Yeah, it just to stay more organized. Because the last thing I want is for me to hit him up, and be like, "Yo, I got this person to come on at this time." Because we're both handling bookings at the moment. So if you book somebody in the same time, or it's gonna conflict, then now it's like somebody's gonna have to be told, "Yo, I'm sorry, we're gonna have to move the date," and I don't want that. I want to be like, "Hey, we said this time, and stick to it," you know. So that's where the recording comes in. We just open up our because we can get on our phones too. Just look at it, see who's booked. All right, cool. Is this time good for you? They say yeah, and just add them in the schedule right away, and we're solid. So
no, and your guests appreciate that, bro. And I will say, like, you know, and now that the audience hears this, y'all motherfuckers better still be listening. But no, I think your guests that you have on the podcast appreciate that too, though, because it just shows like how serious you are about your job, and like that makes me like feel grateful that I even drove out here an hour because like you guys put in so much work, you know.
Yeah.
Like both of us, we were both hype about this.
Yeah, dude. We were hyped as fuck when you guys said yes.
We're like,
yeah.
Like literally when you contacted me, I'm like, dude, like. You first offered, you're like, hey man, if you ever want to like collab, like I don't mind making the drive out to Indy. As soon as you sent that, I texted him like, bro, let's get these guys on the podcast. Let's see if these guys want to come on. As soon as you said yes, I'm like, yes, like this is like our first time having people here that we literally have never met. Yeah. And like it's nice to like meet you guys, get to know you guys, and like become buds. And it's just different because like I mean obviously before all the people we've had I've known or he's known. But like it's a different thing.
I will say like that's one area of our podcast. Like I would say the things that we're definitely going to learn from you is like from a production side. What you guys do is insane. I think there's actually tips for definitely us there. But when it comes to the episodes, we have gotten out of our comfort zone like 100%.
Oh yeah, like I can tell. Yeah, you guys have so much people on.
I mean, like some of these people, and they don't all turn out great either. You know, like I mean, at least from us personally, we'll have the conversation afterwards, and we're like.
You're like, I don't feel the best about that one.
You know, like we definitely could have done better, or like, man, we could have had a better guest choice here, or whatever it is. But it's a trial and error. And I think.
Oh, go ahead, bro. I don't mean to interrupt.
I was gonna say, like, our conversation skills have drastically improved. Like this dude, from the first podcast to now, night and day. No joke. He's still on the quieter side, and I think it's just his personality.
Yeah,
but when he comes out, bro, and he asks a question, like it's great. I trust it every time.
Heck yeah. Man.
And that was just because we put ourselves under the fire, and we were just like, we're gonna go after it,
Yeah, it's all the growing pains that comes with doing this.
Yeah, I think the way we ended up growing like that, we had like a good maybe 15 episodes where it was literally just us. So like we wanted to get comfortable talking to each other in like in a podcast way. So when we had guests on, we would be like good enough to talk to them and not be awkward because we're both naturally awkward people. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm just like a conversationalist by heart, so I'm like, give me a mic, let's talk. Like that's why I'm always pumped about this stuff.
Which is why you make a great podcast guest, bro.
Literally, yeah. Great podcaster.
Yeah, and great podcaster yourself.
Yeah. I was gonna say touch on our flow. Our flow is a little bit different. We our guest list is a little bit different because it is kind of more sporadic,
right?
Depending on when we can get guests. Because I mean, there was one weekend we did 4 podcasts,
Holy nice,
and then spaced them out over 2 weeks. But shit, we posted all of them that week. It's like 10 or 12 days, bro. Yeah, that was insane. But yeah, sometimes we'll have really hot weeks. Other times we won't, and then depending on that is kind of how serious we take the editing grind. So how it always works is for any virtual podcast we do. He always does the guest on his laptop. I always have my laptop connect to our podcast system, and I'm recording the audio. And then we have one camera that's shooting the whole picture.
Right.
And I have thought about because we actually both have the same camera. It's I don't even know what it is. Yeah, Sony ZV-1 is what it's called. And I would definitely, this is where the sales are going to come in. I'd encourage you guys to get one. Like I know money, obviously. I mean, it's a lot of money to spend. It's $800, but literally what I did, I I got a Best Buy credit card. I pay like $70 a month on it.
Yeah.
And after like a little bit of time, you know, you get some money paid off. Like, bro, you have a camera.
Yeah.
You guys are already going to use it anyways, and it increases production value. So, like,
Right.
that's a really good way to step up the game, and also doesn't take up a bunch of storage on your phone. Too.
Literally.
True. True.
Then you can actually like play with your phone while you're
Yeah.
like on the podcast.
Yeah.
It's just nice.
Well, as soon as I transfer like all this stuff onto my computer, I just go straight and just delete it. Automatically delete it. As soon as it's solid on here, I just delete it. You know.
But like, there's always that like scare that like the phone's gonna stop recording because the storage is full.
Yep.
Yeah.
So having an SD card is really nice because we have, dude, I have so many in my house,
Yeah.
bro. Like hundreds of dollars in storage is
Just
what
storage.
we have, bro.
Yeah.
I bought a 1 terabyte SanDisk SSD that cost me like $150. I have like 5 or 6 like 128 gig memory cards for the cameras, like dedicated just for the podcast. So like we ain't ever running out of storage. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then because the problem we had initially was like we would do an episode and we basically had to delete it off our computer. Like we'd have to just post it and be done with it.
Yeah.
Now I have on a hard drive, I have episodes 9 through 24.
Yeah.
Just chilling there. You know, I can access them whenever I want.
Yeah.
Just so
That's
nice.
exactly what he did too.
Because I literally had like episode 1 through 15 all on my laptop, the raw footage and the finished episodes. So it was like full. I'm like, dude, I literally can't edit. So I just went to the store and I bought two 2 terabyte hard drives, and that's literally where I put everything.
Good for
Yeah.
you, dude. You dropped a brick that day,
man.
didn't you?
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
My pockets had holes.
Ooh, dude, that's expensive. Yeah, no, for sure. Storage was the biggest thing I think we figured out. But yeah, it's really just like, so once we're done, we take that drive. If we do a virtual, just put the screen recording. We actually do most of them on Discord. The reason being is because it records your audio, their audio separately. So now I have their video and an audio file. And then like, because if I was just to screen record it, you would hear not only their voice, but our voice too.
Your voice too.
So then it's like this reverb action that doesn't sound good. So just their audio. And then just put that on that drive, and then I edit it in Final Cut. And then I'll post it. He usually downloads it from YouTube, actually, because the quality's still pretty solid. And then we just do the reels from there.
How long does it usually take to edit a podcast?
Okay, well, like we said when we first started, way too long. Now, I mean, we got it down pretty fast, dude. If it's a in-person, it'd probably take me 15 minutes.
Oh, hell.
Nice.
If it's and it just depends sometimes because, you know, maybe the camera will overheat or maybe, you know, my computer times out, so a little bit of audio lags out. Like, I don't think we've ever had like a perfect episode.
Yeah, same here. Same here.
Yeah, it never happens. So
Yeah.
There's always that
hopefully this one's running pretty good so far. But yeah, so do the slight little edits, but if everything's like clean, 15 minutes for a virtual 30.
Nice. Right on.
Like, I mean,
That's solid for like an hour plus episode. That's good.
Yeah. Yeah, we're averaging between we've only had one podcast under an hour. The most recent one was hour 57, episode 24 of Vic. But usually averaging between
hour 57? Bro, I'm looking forward to watching that podcast.
dude, it's gonna be
Yeah,
it was a
me too.
really good conversation, by the way. But between hour 15 and an hour 30, I'd say is probably where we sit.
Yeah.
Which is usually plenty of time to have a good conversation. If it's really good, then, you know, we'll just keep it rolling. You know,
right.
Time flies. So, but yeah, the reels is just the hardest grind, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Oh my gosh. If you want to gain like real relevancy when it comes to your podcast, if you're really good at the reels, it will happen. I solely
Yeah,
believe
yeah.
that.
Well, that's kind of like for when we do our reels. We kind of came up with like that border and then the loading circle and all that stuff. But I don't know, cause it's like we have so many reels up, and some of them get like anywhere from like 57 views to like a couple thousand. So it's so random. I'm like, I'm just have faith that one day it'll take off. You know, we're doing our thing, putting out the best quality content we can, and then one day it just slowly starts taking off, and we start getting what we want.
It's just like your money. You got to diversify, right? Like content is money
Yes.
in a sense. And so you need to diversify by putting yourself in different platforms, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I think TikTok is still great. I would say that's for that type of media, that's the truest gauge of what your success level looks like. You know, if you're getting 100 likes on there, like that's going to show one thing. If you got 300,000 likes on there, that's going to show like it really took off, you know? Versus Instagram, I've noticed it's a really weird algorithm.
Yeah, dude, and especially because you can go to other people's profiles and see their views on their reels.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, maybe it's just us that were brand new starting this thing. But no, I go through and like look at some people with millions of followers, and they'll have anywhere from like a reel that does 1+ million views, another one that only got like a couple thousand.
Yep.
And I'm like, dude, what the fuck?
It's weird. But the one thing Vic actually told me this was just like the most direct access to, because what do you want people to do, right? You want them to actually watch your episode on YouTube.
Right.
Well, there's YouTube Shorts, right?
Yeah.
Well, actually, your profile's right there. If it's really good, they'll just click on it and they'll go right to
they're
your
already
video.
there. Yeah.
So that's another one we haven't really explored too much yet, because like the thing I do like about Instagram is like we can keep it out of our actual feed and just put it in as a reel, kind of like in a different category.
Well, that's one reason that we've kind of stayed away too, is just because then you're scrolling through shorts and videos.
It's too much.
I agree.
Yeah.
If they had a separate system, it'd be a little better.
If it was in a separate category, I would do it all day long.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the tough part about it. But the other thing I thought about was like, if you actually put like a crap ton of work into one though, and you're really proud of it, that'd be a good way,
Yeah.
It incentivizes, for me at least, making the short content in addition to making the big bodies too. Because you're already spending 30 minutes an hour on the big body. You need to advertise that thing, If you want to see the next Marvel movie, if they never said anything about it, you wouldn't be seeing it,
You
right?
wouldn't know it's coming out.
So they're spending just as much money on the advertising as they are for the damn film.
Yeah.
So I think of content the same exact way. It's just like you really got to put time into how you're going to advertise it and what you want to advertise too. And it's funny. It's like the shit you think is actually like worth hearing is the shit that nobody will ever listen to. The stuff that like you think so dumb is the stuff that actually blows up. Like we had this one reel. It's been doing pretty good, but it was like, what's everybody's like recent staples in their diet? And this guy was just like, rice. This is all he said. And I was just like, that took off.
You're like, yeah, no shit. You're like, everyone kind of eats rice.
Yeah, it's like, I can give you the truth of the universe, and I get like 5 likes on this thing.
Yeah,
bro. I tell you rice, and you're gonna give me 1,000.
We had once where like we were so excited, we recreated the Will Smith song.
I was just about to say the same thing, bro.
Like, we had this idea. We're like, dude, like this is gonna pop off. Like this is like great because we did.
Because it was like fresh, like it had just happened, and like 2 days later, we're like, dude, let's make this video.
No, it's actually his idea, and like the whole thing was like me talking about his shitty beard, and then he got up and he like legit smacked me. Like it's on our reels, but it didn't do as well.
It didn't do anything.
Like, we posted it, and we're like, damn, like all right.
It's unfortunately the expectations. I heard a good thing though recently. It was just like, dude, you just can't give a fuck about what anybody else thinks either, though. Like you guys thought it was cool. And I know the people that you fuck with definitely think it's cool. I thought it was cool. I actually saw it, so I did like it.
Oh, right on.
But that's all that matters, though, right? I mean, why does Stacy in Oklahoma even matter? She doesn't. You don't even know her. Like, the people that matter, like your boys, and like them showing the support. So that's the thing that you always got to recognize at the end of the day, too, yourself, right? If you're really proud of it, that really is all that matters. Yeah,
and eventually your crowd will find you.
Yeah, they will.
Yeah. They'll find you.
If you're super proud of what you do, that means you're very original too. And like the people that actually make it and see long-lasting results here are the people that are original.
Yeah,
always. You never see some dude that's a rip-off X, do numbers and do that for a long time. It doesn't happen. You want to be rip-off Drake, dude? You're gonna be gone in 2 years.
Yeah, because you'll see these people riding these trends. They'll like shoot straight up, but in a month or two, like, where did this guy go? Like,
and I'd rather almost have our success come late, do this for like a couple years, and then like we slowly start getting success versus overnight. Because then we've been doing this for a while, it's not like, oh shit, like we got success overnight. How do we keep it now? Because I'd rather just slowly get it, and the people that do watch us have been with us for a while. So then it's like, all right, you know what? We have a good fan base, a good loyal like community, because at the end of the day, that's what I want. I want a community. Like I would love to do like a live podcast and then just go wild afterwards, like that sounds like so much fun.
Those are two big things. One, sustainability, right?
Yeah,
like that's the problem with overnight success. It's like you did it once, now you got to repeat it, right? And for a long
then like
time,
you don't know how you did it. It just happened.
And the second thing, dude, that's one of the biggest things that we emphasize on our InspoCast is community based. The people that we see that grow the biggest followings are all about engagement with their community. Like they're here trying to help people. I mean, you guys are too, in a different way. But like you're trying to help your community, whether it be, you know, a laugh and a smile, or like maybe some real time advice. You know, for us, it tends to be on the fitness side. You know, you're lacking in X area. How can I help you here? Or like, oh, I'm struggling with X problem with my diet. Like, how do I do that? You know, it's different problems, but kind of the same way of going about it. And those people are like, I mean, some people it's like cults. Like they have cult followings that follow them, but that's all because they started that way. They just wanted to build this community, and they just expanded upon it, and then it just grew like wildfire, right? If you got 10 people on your team, bro, like on your team, they will share everything about you. Yeah. And they know 10 people, right? It's that the law of 10 or something like that, I think is what it's called.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, I think it's like the
10 people know 10 people know 10 people, and it's like
people
by like 4 or something.
Yeah.
But that's why it's super important, you know, every interaction that you have to like really leave a positive impact. And I mean, that's the boat that we're on, you know, every day, just trying to be the best version of ourselves. We find that through fitness, and try to portray that same image or that message to others.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice.
Wise words. Speaking like I'm 50. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Well, you guys mentioned school, and I think you're still in college, right? And you graduated, Cole?
Yes, sir.
So, are you gonna do anything with the degree, or is that more just you felt like you needed to go to school? Or
it's funny. I feel like I am using the degree.
Oh yeah,
it's weird.
Like on yourself through what you learned, because you got in kinesiology.
So bachelor in kinesiology with it's basically like a minor in entrepreneurship.
Okay.
So
nice.
I was passionate about fitness and health, and I was passionate about building a business. And I feel like in a weird way, those two things have very much collided
with each other.
In the sense of like, you know, fitness has always been a huge passion of mine. I mean, I have like 2 personal training certificates too. Like, I mean, I've done the whole shebang, right?
Yeah.
But I just kind of realized the traditional fitness path is not for me. I was impacted most by the social media community.
Right.
And I think that's where the entrepreneurship side comes in of like, you know, how can I push myself to, you know, create financial stability for myself, be on my own schedule, and also impact lives through what I'm most passionate about. So
right.
At least that's what, you know, I have a real job right now too, but I'm trying to transition my life to the point where like I'm working on my side hustle. I mean, I'm like working 70 hours a week right now, basically, you know.
That's what you got to do, man.
Yeah, no, it is. And it's just because I like doing it though too, you know. So work myself to the point where I can transition that schedule slowly and surely.
Yeah, I think we're all kind of there. Okay, got it. Oh shit! Yeah. That was for people who didn't see on camera. That's my wife telling me to hurry the fuck up. Yeah, she wrote on a piece of paper. She's on the phone with her right now.
Nah, that's fine.
Yeah, it's all good.
We can ask us like 2 more questions and then.
Well, towards the end of before we get into this, I want to kind of get into, because we talked about you already graduated college and everything. What are you going to college for?
Right now, applied sciences with business specialty.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
When's your expected graduate date?
May 2025.
That's when I graduate.
Really?
Yeah. Right on. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, at the end of the episodes, we always do some fun would you rathers. So these might be some super random. I've chosen one that's kind of related to all of us, but let's get right into it. So the first one, would you rather have 1 million subscribers on YouTube or 1 million followers on Instagram?
1 million subscribers on YouTube, no question.
Yeah, I would do the same.
Eliaz, like, do we have to have a reason why?
You can provide a reason if you want.
Yeah.
Dude, if I'm being honest, like the sustainability, like if you have 1 million subscribers on YouTube, like I think that is way crazier than having 1 million subscribers on Instagram. Also, like you think about how much more you can do on YouTube too. Like you can actually put like a 10-20 minute message out there. You could advertise something. I would say from a financial standpoint, it would definitely be way more beneficial, but also you're going to connect with your audience way more too.
A little more.
So,
I agree.
If I had a pick, that would be mine, but I like Instagram too. I like pretty pictures. So.
What about you, Elias?
That's a tough one. I'd say YouTube. So I mean, if you have a decent following on YouTube, you probably have a decent following on Instagram. But I guess like monetization on there. If you have 1 million subscribers, you're making pretty good views. You're gonna be making money on there.
I feel like you can reach out to people more on YouTube. You know, you can make like a however many long video and just go versus. I don't know about you guys, but when there's like a long caption on a YouTube or on an Instagram thing,
I don't read it.
it's same.
Yeah.
I'm like a couple sentences in, I'm like, it's not going anywhere. I'm done.
Yeah,
you
that's
know.
facts.
You read like one a week, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
It's usually worth it, but yeah.
And also, I know like a lot of YouTubers, they make most of their money off of merch. So like,
Yeah,
if you have-
merch sales.
if you have
With 1 million like subscribers, it's gonna sell.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, next one. Would you rather have all of your clothes fit perfectly or have the most comfortable pillow, blankets, and sheets in existence?
Ah, shit, man. Yeah, that's good.
I'd rather have my clothes fit perfectly.
Really? Dude, I'd rather take the sleep stuff.
Bro, I love my sleep.
Bro, I'm like a sleep whore, man. You know, like especially if it's like nice silk stuff. Bro, imagine the sleep you're getting, like the best bed out there, best pillow, the perfectly made for you, and you just lay there and just like you're sleeping on clouds.
These are good questions.
You know?
I think
I'm
I would
torn.
go with the
I have a
sheets.
bad relationship with my like bed because I swear like
'Cause
not the bedroom. I'm not putting it like that. Dude, it's like I've found myself in past like abusing sleep in the sense of like either like honestly usually sleeping way too much and like
Yeah.
just finding laziness. So like if I had a good balance with that, I'd probably say that. But I honestly rather have my clothes be drippy because
Oh, true.
I just
didn't
like
even
want to
think
have that confidence all the
Yeah,
time. If I could obtain that, that would be amazing.
Yeah, I agree. But I think I would go with the sheets.
Those are
'cause-
both good options.
All right, next one. Would you rather have whatever you are thinking appear above your head for everyone to see, or have absolutely everything you do live streamed for anyone to see?
Oh fuck. Damn, I think a lot of stuff. But I do a lot of stupid stuff too.
Yeah.
I'd rather just show what I'm thinking, man. Honestly,
Really? Dude, I'd rather live stream.
Because I'm like a super transparent person, so like I talk a lot too. So usually whatever's on my
Yeah.
mind, I do say. So I'd feel a lot more comfortable doing
Yeah,
that versus like I do things in my private time where I'm like, bro, I just want to.
Yeah, this is my
I'm
me
my own
time.
business. You know what I'm saying? At least you're
Oh,
just seeing
snap.
words. You're not actually seeing the video. You know.
What about you?
Right,
Elias?
right.
Probably the thinking above your head.
Yeah,
I could not live stream.
because they're like live streaming you in the bathroom too. I think
That's
I would
fine,
go
bro.
with
That's
Yeah.
fine. Well, if I'm live streaming, they can donate. You know, through Twitch, they can send donations.
You're the
Oh,
ultimate
God.
Twitch streamer at that point, bro.
Yeah.
All right, next one. Would you rather have a successful podcast on YouTube or on Spotify? Because I know you guys are on Spotify too, right?
YouTube,
Yeah,
100%.
I'd say
I think I do YouTube.
Yeah.
You get more engagement through YouTube than Spotify.
I think that's what
You know.
I mean, we initially started like the video aspect, and I like watching the video ones too and seeing facial expressions. So I feel like it's just a better experience overall because podcasts are experiences. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Agreed.
agree, YouTube. All right, we'll do one more. So last one is: would you rather be able to teleport anywhere or be able to read minds?
teleport.
Teleport.
I think I'm taking.
I don't want to read people's minds, bro. People.
Say some fuck that
That's
shit.
Yeah.
I'd say teleport in the bank real quick. Teleport right back out.
Yeah. Imagine all you could do. You just start teleporting everywhere. You know.
Yeah.
That'd be dope.
That'd be insane.
Yeah.
Teleport to Dubai.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, with that, appreciate you guys coming on. Appreciate you guys with making the drive, especially, and coming on our podcast. So, you guys, please make sure you go check out their stuff. It'll be linked in the bio and all that stuff. InspoCast on pretty much all platforms, right?
Yeah, just go to InspoCast.com and make sure you guys subscribe to these guys if you aren't already. Pretty
Nice.
dope guys, and
Yeah.
appreciate having us on.
Yeah, we're gonna be
Right
referencing
on.
this to our audience too, so make sure to go
Hell yeah,
follow
thank
these
you.
boys
Yeah,
as well.
appreciate you guys.
Yeah, and we'll have your personal stuff on the description as well, so that way you get all avenues.
Sounds good.
We
People coming
appreciate
your way.
y'all. Dude, it was a great
sir.
experience, by the way,
Thank you.
too. Man, it's we were talking about before. We're like, it's gonna be weird to get asked questions instead of asking questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how we were like thinking about that too, about you guys being the ones or being asked versus asking.
I enjoyed it. Honestly, it's a lot easier.
Yeah.
I feel a lot less pressure too. 'Cause I was
All you
like,
gotta do is
bro,
answer a question.
all we have to do is just like come on, and then we can just leave. We don't
Yeah.
even care about it. It's their problem.
Yeah, you're like they're doing all the editing and all
Yeah,
the
it's
posts.
your problem. Have fun, bro.
Yeah. Well, damn. All right. Well, later, guys.
Peace.
Take it easy.